Afternoon. Before I start, how many of you guys have actually picked up a book and read it in the past half year? I don't mean class assigned books. Oh my gosh. I don't mean class assigned books, but books you read for your entertainment. For those of you who don't have your hands up, what were the reasons? Mine were specifically two. It was either I didn't have the time or I wasn't in the mood for it. When Genius Hour was first introduced for me, this specific topic wasn't on my mind. Instead, I was freaking out internally, having no idea what my passion could or could not be. To help with this, my teachers gave me a simple March Madness bracket and told us to fill it out with the things that we liked and didn't. Okay, that got me nowhere. In the end, I decided to kick this and started freaking out again. 2 days before the proposals were actually due, I went up to one of my teachers and stated I was nervous and I have no project. She just smiled and said, "What do you do? Can you ask any more general question?" After that, I answered like anyone else would. Eat, sleep, go to sleep. Eat, sleep, go to school, watch TV. But none of those things were passionate. Then she listed out potential passion projects. Then she got to reading. I was so shocked that I didn't think of this myself. That day, I left a plan that I was passionate about. However, that feeling didn't last long due to the amount of work that was due before the projects were actually due. Okay. So my initial plan was to read, I haven't stated my project yet, so here it goes. I was supposed to read 20 books and also to have an underlying theme but connecting them all to one. At the time, it didn't seem hard. Instead, I thought it was challenging, possible, and fun. With all of this, in the beginning, I was actually on schedule, reading a book a half in a week and writing analysis on them. But all the schoolwork that I've been pushing out for this specific project was coming up and I was overwhelmed. My initial plan was to read an hour in a week, read an hour every day. With this, I'm a pretty fast reader, meaning I could knock out 80 to 100 pages at that time span. To keep a reminder, I set an alarm at 6 o'clock, meaning I had to stop whatever I was doing and to just read. With this whole With the reminder, I put an alarm for 6 o'clock, meaning I had to stop doing whatever I was doing and to read, even if it was homework. But I didn't contribute the factor of me having a life. I go to school, hang out with friends, after school activities, and I sleep, which is the majority of time, and to do stuff on the weekend. I really didn't factor in the time that I potentially cannot be spending on my project. With this whole time issue, I only read 10 out of the 20 books that I was supposed to read. 10 of the 20 books that I was supposed to read. Even though this is a failure, I believe that I did amazing. Even though I can't change the past, I can, however, use experiences that I learned, and if I had the opportunity to do it again, I can use that and learn from it. Overall, I'm so glad Genius Hour is over. A huge weight has been lifted off of me. If someone were to ask me in the beginning, would you prefer a paper over a Genius Hour, I would have probably a little too quickly said a paper. A paper is a one-time done thing. I would have gone over it. But from the lessons that I personally learned over this course, I don't believe I would have learned it if I were to just do a paper. One thing I learned was being independent. Yes, the teachers had a few deadlines and guidelines here and there, but the project was basically mine. I had the authority over it that no one else did. But the biggest takeaway I probably learned from this whole Genius Hour project was about time. I'm a big procrastinator, and I'm big on saying this. Honestly, there were times during and before this project where I had the opportunity to actually read. Instead, thinking that I had all the time in the world, I was being careless about it. I was being careless about it. It wasn't hard to do. I do it, we all do it. I do it, we all do it. Time wasn't waiting for me. It wasn't gonna pause just because I was doing a little bit of this and that. It went by really quickly. I didn't notice it until it was at the very end. It was the very end. But the important thing that I'm trying to convey here is that I believe that I spent my time well. I spent my time well during this project. I had a blast. And as Time said himself, time gives before it takes. Every day is a gift, every hour, every second. So it's your choice to take advantage of it.